What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Travis Bernard Douglas, award-winning hairstylist and male breast cancer survivor. And I wanted to come on real quick and talk to you guys about um, something that I thought about while I was taking a shower today. So we know that, breast cancer is a thing, but, just cancer of any type is a thing. And with a diagnosis, of course, you have to figure out, what the treatment is going to be to help you move along through this journey, safely as possible, and that will be beneficial so that things won't progress to get worse. And so for me, I had a single mastectomy, but I also had to do chemotherapy, and I am currently, cancer free, thank God, and it's going on my year 2 mark of being cancer free. In February, actually, it will be year 2. And so I wanted to come and talk to you guys about the not just the process of chemotherapy, but um, if you know someone who's experiencing chemotherapy, or if you are someone who's going through chemotherapy, you know how taxable it can be on your body and the side effects. Some chemos are very abrasive, and then some chemos are not as bad. But I will say, for me, I had to do 4 rounds of chemo, and they were very abrasive treatments. I lost my eyebrows, I lost my beard, my fingernails smelled. I was exhausted. I had neuropathy. I had GI issues. I couldn't taste. Some of my eyelashes were gone. So you can imagine, not only the physical um, attacks that you dealt with going through that process of chemo. My skin was dry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think of it as I go, but my skin was dry. Which is this is the reason why I'm doing this video, is about the skin process of it. But however, and I just did not like what I was seeing, in the mirror while I was going through that journey. But I knew that it was a process that I had to go through. However, through that journey, there were a couple of things that did make me feel better, about myself and going through the process. Anybody knows that, like with going through chemo, there are some people that will do their sessions for however many sessions they have to do, and and they'll be done. But I also discovered while I was doing chemo that there will be some people that will do chemo for the rest, for the remainder of their lives, and that really hurts my heart. Um, but however, I can imagine, being on the caregiver end, or someone that is going to be walking this journey with someone who's experiencing it, or if you're experiencing yourself, you have to walk the journey. I can imagine, you trying to figure out things to put a smile on that person's face and to help them feel better about themselves in that process. And so I kind of wanted to come on and just give y'all a couple of tips if you're looking to help a person through that process, and you might want to purchase them something, or you might want to get them a care package. We are coming into our Christmas month, and I'm definitely in a space where I don't like for people to buy, me personally, a whole bunch of nonsense. I prefer things that I'm going to use. And when I use that thing, I think about that person that got it for me. I although I love shoes and clothes and things of that nature, but depends upon what you buy me as far as the shoe and the clothes. It has to determine if I have some place to go to wear it. And, and for the most part of it, I'm at work, and, I don't really get out much to other events. So I prefer to have things that I could really, really use. And with buying clothes and, other unnecessary stuff, you got to know the person's style, and and sometimes our style change, so you might end up catching them in the season where they don't even like that anymore. So just to be on the safe side, I will say buy people what they need. A lot of times we're asking, is there anything that I can do for you? And yes, you can. When a person is going through this space and process in their life, one thing that you can do is be a good listening ear. And and be there for them as much as they would want you to, or as much as they will allow you to. Some people don't like to be smothered, and then some people do. But I will say this: listen to them and see what they say, and kind of follow their lead when it comes to that. I know some people who have gone through a cancer diagnosis and no one knew what they had going on, and that's how private some people can be, because they don't want people to, just shower them with the and or treat them differently, because of they just want to be able to go through this journey and do it gracefully without anyone knowing it. So, however, today I want to talk about, once again, the things that make me feel good, and I'm going to do some other videos to help aid either the individual that is going through it, if you're watching this video, or someone who is a caregiver of someone who is going through that space. So for me, I am very big on my skin, making sure I look presentable. And what I did realize about the chemotherapy, it dried me out a lot. So with hydrating, it seemed like you could never get enough water. But with hydrating yourself with, of course, water, my skin was still dealing with some peeling. So one of the things that, as I said before, you can do, and is that the first thing is, once again, being a listening ear. And with being a listening ear, you can kind of gauge and talk to them about the things that they want and or desire and or need. But what I have realized, chemo dries your skin out really bad. For some, once again, not a one size fit all, but it dried my skin out. And as far as my face, I like using the Clinique combination skin. Now my skin is oily. But on chemo, I was a lot more drier. So I think it kind of pushed me into a combination skin situation, but I used this whole system. It's scent free. I don't particularly care for using, facial cleansers that have, perfumey, scents. I like something that is, low to no fragrance. So this is for oily skin and combination skin. And I use the whole system, the step 3, the whole system for this. I use these, and I use the gel. It's like a yellow gel moisturizer that I use with this system. But however, the gel wasn't as moisturizing. When I was not going through chemo, it works, but while I was doing chemo, the gel moisturizer did not work for me, because I still had the dry patches. So I had to search and remember something I had used a while ago that had my skin extremely oily, and I had to circle back to it. And this is the Tatcha moisturizer. To me, the little container looks like a little apple, but however, this moisturizer is extremely hydrating. It is extremely hydrating. So this will work for people, who just has naturally, dry skin. But for those of you who are experiencing chemo, and your skin is dry on your face, and you want to feel, and at the same time, look good and hydrated, this is it. It gives you that dewy finish. It is a pretty price point, but I do believe that it's worth it. I am a living testimony that a little bit goes a long way. It has this little applicator spatula at the top, so you actually use this to dip inside of it, and you can dab, 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 hit your neck, because that is a part of the face too. And this will help you not from digging your finger in it and getting so much product that you don't even need. But it is expensive. You can get this from Sephora. You can get it from Ulta, and you can actually go to the website. And I think the website gives you a better deal. When I went in Ulta, I think I ended up spending about $70 for this container. But once again, as I said before, a little bit goes a long way, and you can always, dab a little bit more, just in case. But this is what the inside of it looks like, and it's a little to no fragrance, so that's another reason why I like it. And this is what it looks like. Some of my beard hair fell down in it. But however, yeah, a really, really good product. And I absolutely love it. And it really helped my skin through that process. So if you're looking to get anything, this definitely would be it. And then my next thing would be, after I moisturize my face, I would moisturize my body with Nivea. Love this. It's not a heavy lotion, but it gets the job done. And it keeps my skin moisturized and hydrated without it feeling weighted. Because one of my pet peeves is for my skin to feel like it's been weighted. I don't care for, shea butters and coconut oils. They're just a bit too heavy for my liking, like the feel of it on my skin. So I prefer the Nivea lotion, which keeps me hydrated. And I actually use a little bit of this. I put some of it in a smaller bottle, and so I can carry it around as hand lotion, because this bottle is too big for me to carry around. But yeah, for my body, love the Nivea. And then when it comes to my lips being chapped and or dry, I would use this cocoa butter formulated lip balm. Now this works well for me. I don't like Carmex. I don't particularly care for that. I don't know, the little tingly sensation in that wears me thin, and then it feels like it does not do anything for me. And I think my lips actually began to peel more on that, but this worked well for me. Now it's not going to be a one size fit all, but this worked well for me through that process of my chemo. I still had some little chapped pieces, and I still will say search it for yourself, find what works for you for yourself. But this is what I did use for the most part of my journey of going through chemo. But yeah, I just want to share those tidbits of info with you. And as I said before in the beginning of the video, I will for sure do another video talking about some other things that made me feel better about myself, and that made me feel more comfortable, and what I personally would prefer, if it were me going back to that space again. So I will say, as I said before, listen to your people, and don't just go out buying unnecessary things, especially when we hear cancer diagnosed. A lot of us, we really jump to conclusions quickly. And we typically associate or box in cancers with death sentences, and let's stop doing that. And then especially when people have to go through chemo, let's stop boxing in that everybody wants to wear a wig, because everybody don't. Some people will rock their bald heads, and they will go on through their day. I will say, listen to them, hear their hearts cry, and try to meet that need, opposed to doing the things that you would think and feel would be idealistic for someone who is experiencing that journey. To those of you who are battling any type of cancer, don't know who you are, but I will definitely send up prayer, because I understand how that space is. And to those of you who are a caregiver of anyone who's experiencing cancer, I understand that although you're not feeling what they feel, but you are around to get some of that that spillover that comes from this process. And I understand that it's not easy for you as well, and I will be keeping you in my prayers. I pray that this video is helpful. As I said before, I will be coming back and talking about some other things that that I enjoyed through that journey, or that made me feel better during that journey. And I love you guys. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.